So I made a video how I said A Night to Remember by Shalimar is one of those songs. It's really the main song to put a big smile on my face. Every time I feel that song, I feel good. I started thinking about what other songs make me feel this way. And there's like Mama Used to Say by Junior, I Like It, and Love Me in a Special Way by The Barge, The Walk, and 7779311 by The Time. But then I was watching MTV Classics and I caught the ending of I Feel For You by Chaka Khan. And I looked just like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's like this. That's it right there. It's like, that's it right there. I Feel For You by Chaka Khan is one of the greatest songs ever. Unparalleled greatness, right? But I'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the journey of that song. How did we get to Chaka Khan's version in 1984? Let's go back to 1979. 1979, Prince released his self-titled album. If you're a Prince historian, please let me know if I got this wrong. Totally fine. Just correct me. He writes, I Feel For You, and I Want to Be Your Lover for Patrice Rushen. Now, I don't know because the story changes. Either he wrote that for her and she turned them down, or he actually wrote them about her and he gave them to her to sing and she turned them down. So either A, he liked her, he wrote the songs for her to sing, or he was attracted to her and he wrote the songs about her, but she still turned them down. And if you look at the titles, I Feel For You, I Think I Love You, I Want to Be Your Lover. Yeah, that's what you kind of write for a chick that you're attracted to. But I don't know the true history of that. But both stories are great. She turns them down. He puts them both on his album. I Feel For You is great. I Want to Be Your Lover is just one of the greatest Prince songs ever. Great, great, great. So that's 1979. We fast forward to 1982. Not in 1984 yet. 1982, the Pointer Sisters remakes I Feel For You. How that happens, I have no idea. But their version is a little bit slower. They didn't turn into a ballad. It's just a tick slower. It's almost like I want to be your lover. But it's a little bit slower. But they sound really good on it. It sounds like the Prince track is just a slowed down version. But I don't think they released it. And that's the album. That was the album, the I Am So Excited album, where they have their hit song. I'm so excited. So I mean, that's that album. So you think they would have released that, but they didn't. And in 1982 was a pivotal year just because Prince drops 1999. And 1982, you get Prince's 1999 and Michael Jackson's Thriller. 1982 was so great. But yeah, you would think because Prince dropped 1999, the record company that the Pointer Sisters were on would have dropped I Feel For You, but they didn't. Okay. We jumped to 1984. Not Chaka Khan yet. No. We get to Rebie Jackson. Rebie Jackson, her debut album is the album that she has Centipede on it, produced by her brother Michael Jackson. And she also does a remake of I Feel For You. Her version sounds just like Prince's version. It's almost like a karaoke. It feels like they just took Prince's vocals off and put Rebie's vocals on. And she sounds fine on it. And there's little tweaks in it. They add the little stuff here and there. And it sounds fine. And I think I don't know, this might be the only album that has a song by Michael Jackson and a song by Prince. And I'm sure there might be another one someplace, but I can't think of another album that has a song by Michael Jackson and Prince. But the Rebie version sounds good. But again, I don't think they released it. That was the early 1984. Now we get to the Chaka Khan version. Arif Mardin, who produced the track, he produced like Nights on Broadway by the Bee Gees, Against All Odds by Phil Collins. He produced everybody, and he also did a lot of co-produced a lot of early Mariah Carey stuff with her. He totally deconstructs the song. He saw hip hop was coming. The film Breaking was out. Hip hop was coming hard. Run DMC was kicking it. He puts a beat under that track. He samples Stevie Wonder's Fingertips. He has Stevie Wonder play guitar, play harmonica on it. He adds more bass to the song. He totally where the Pointer Sisters and Rebie Jackson just basically sang over Prince's track. He totally deconstructed that song. It's a totally different song on that. And it's fantastic. It's in the video. You have Shabba-Doo and Shrimp. They would be in Breaking, and then the host of other breakdancers that would be in Breaking. Chaka Khan was looking great, even though she had a lot of clothes on, which is odd for Chaka, because Chaka had a great body. It's like, what's she doing with all these clothes on? Man, everything about it. Melle Mel was on it, and the funny thing about that is Chaka didn't like that Chaka Khan. Now that part that Chaka Khan was a mistake, because I guess when Arif Mardin was programming it, it's supposed to say Chaka Khan, but that popped up, and he's like, That sounds good. I'm going to keep it. Now, for Chaka Khan, I don't think she liked the whole Melle Mel part where it's like, I want to love you, I want to squeeze you, I want to hold you too. Let me put you in the arm, Chaka. I don't think she liked it. Because Chaka, she's a songstress. She moved from Chaka Khan. She came through the 70s. And hip hop and R&B was not a married couple yet. Like, Teddy Riley changed all that stuff once we get to like Guy and all that stuff and Bobby Brown. Like, if you told me like Teddy Riley produced I Feel For You by Chaka Khan in the late 80s, early 90s, like of course. But hip hop and R&B were not together. Like Full Force was doing it with Lisa, but overall, someone like Chaka Khan, I don't think they was really feeling hip hop at that point. So you're Chaka Khan, you sing your heart out. Now the beginning of the song is not you. It's Grandmaster Melle Mel from the Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5. So yeah, I'm sure she was a bit shocked. But that hook, I can't imagine I Feel For You without Melle Mel. If whoever decided to put him on it was a genius. And it sounds great. Like, it wasn't like this song, Melle Mel sounded out of place on this song. No, his beginning was fantastic. And then Chaka's just singing her heart out. I feel for you. Boom, boom, I think I love you. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, my God. As much as I love the Prince version, and his falsetto is great. Baby, baby, when I look at you. His version is great because it's very sparse. But that Chaka Khan version, the beat on that, the breakdown, when it's like, which is basically just a amped up version of the Prince version with just more instrumentation and more bass and more beats. Man, that song turned 40 years old. I'll ask you, the last time you heard I Feel For You, does that sound like a 40-year-old song? No, it does not. Some songs you hear from the 80s and you feel like, oh yeah, that reminded me of the 80s. No, there is nothing. The only thing that might say the 80s is maybe Melle Mel. But even then, his rhyme is good. His rhyme doesn't sound dated. His rhyming skill wasn't dated at all. It's a fantastic track. And the crazy thing about I Feel For You, it did not hit #1 pop. You would assume, as big as that song was, it hit #1. It stalled at #3. It got beat out by Prince's Purple Rain, and it got beat out by George Michael's, Wham's, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go and Prince's Purple Rain kept that from going from #1. I'm not mad at it because George Michael and Prince are great. And if you look back in 1984, go look at a chart from 1984. Just choose any month from 1984. That whole mid-80s period. Anything from Michael Jackson and Prince from 1982 to maybe 80 to George Michael and Faith. Look at the song in that time period, especially in 1984, 85, because that's like Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, Prince, Michael, Phil Collins, Bryan Adams. Oh my God. That 1984 period, David Bowie, Duran Duran. 1984 was a killer. And the fact that Chaka Khan almost hit #1, and she wasn't a big crossover artist. The fact that Chaka Khan had this track, and again, it was probably fueled by the success of Prince and Purple Rain, but still, that's still Chaka Khan's biggest track. #2, and she had I'm Every Woman on this track. Probably Through the Wire was the follow-up to I Feel For You. It did okay, but I think it got more steam when Kanye did Through the Wire. I think Through the Wire really pumped up the sales on Through the Fire. Through the Fire is great, but Through the Wire really pumped up the sales on that. But man, I Feel For You by Chaka Khan is one of the greatest songs ever. Not even greatest R&B, one of the greatest pop songs ever. Shout out to Chaka Khan. Shout out to the producer Arif Mardin. Shout out to Melle Mel. Shout out to the Pointer Sisters. Shout out to Rebie Jackson for being forward thinking to even doing that. Shout out to Prince for writing those songs. Shout out to Patrice Rushen for turning him down. Could you imagine Prince saying, I wrote these songs for you? And so Patrice Rushen's like, I feel for you. I want to be your lover. Don't you wear a trench coat with underwear? You want to jump in the waters of Lake Minnetonka? Great song, great artist. Oh, put a smile on my face. I love that song so much.